Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have Peggy Smith here joining us, our hypnotherapist, our registered nurse, our everything happy, right? Happy Possibilities. That's what she does, and that's the name of her company. We're going to welcome you back. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Great pleasure to see you. For first-time viewers and listeners, would you mind telling us a little bit about Happy Possibilities before we begin today's awesome topics?
Sure. Happy Possibilities is a nursing consultant practice that does primarily hypnosis, but it does do some other alternative complementary therapies in alternative medicine. And I'm a registered nurse, over 40 years experience in both alternative and traditional medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going to be talking about pain management.
Oh, I got some carpal tunnel here today. Got some cortisone shot this morning, and then I found out yesterday I need hernia surgery for my groin. I have talk about pain management. So I'm excited because I know there's different modalities. I know medicine has its place, but also I know we talked a lot about hypnosis and pain management. So can you share a brief description of hypnosis in a sense in the realm of medical therapy?
Sure. Hypnosis is basically a sense of enhanced focus ability in a very relaxed state of mind, which enables you to be more open to receiving suggestions. And it also, in the realm of pain management, helps distract you from the actual physical pain that you're receiving. Hypnosis doesn't make the pain go away, it changes your perception of the pain and how it feels, the intensity. Just about anybody can be hypnotized. A lot of people feel that they're not hypnotizable, but there's a lot of evidence-based research that shows that, in fact, almost everybody can be hypnotized. Some people, it takes a little more
Wow.
practice than others.
Wow, 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 wow. And you know what? And the modalities, it can help with so many things. We had a great discussion last time, but now we're talking pain management. So how can hypnosis help with pain management? I'm interested. I'm in. I'm your next client.
Well, with pain management, like I said, it provides a distraction. While you're very, very relaxed and you're following directions with the structured breathing techniques, I'm able to talk to your other than conscious parts of your brain to just explain that it's okay, the pain is there, but you have ways of dealing with it that still allow you to function in your day-to-day life. We have so many people that do not tolerate the stronger pain meds. Many people are not able to get the meds that they're used to getting. And a lot of people look at hypnosis as a last resort because nothing else works. I'd like to see more people use it in the beginning and find that they might need less of the stuff that's hard to get. There's special hypnotists that specialize in childbirth, pain management. There's people that specialize in orthopedic stuff. There are nurse anesthetists that practice hypnosis that require less anesthesia or even no anesthesia. I haven't been brave enough to try that yet for surgery, but I do know people that have successfully had minor surgeries with no anesthesia, and they chose that option because they were high risk for anesthesia, and they just wanted to see if it worked, and it did. And so there's a lot of options out there for pain management. It actually, the way it works with the pain management is that it goes to the part of your brain that actually interprets and manages the sensation of pain that you have. And you're actually able to change that perception and focus on other things that are going on, or create a new sense of reality with respect to just the pain. It doesn't mean that you're going to be off in another personality or another land, but by being detached from it and stepping back, you can look at the pain, you can kind of encapsulate it and make it so it's not hurting you. And a lot of times it's the fear of the unknown that makes the pain even worse. A cancer patient, when they get a new pain, right away they jump to, oh my gosh, the cancer's spreading. that's not always the case. I mean, you wouldn't know that for sure without going through tests and talking to your doctor. But
Mm-hmm.
just that anxiety really increases the level of pain, uh, because you're already in a challenging situation, and you're afraid of more challenges coming forward, which unfortunately for some people it does. But there's usually ways, no matter how bad the medical situation is, to manage your comfort level and minimize the symptoms. Like if you're having a lot of nausea, yeah, there are medications for that, but there's also hypnosis can help with that. It can help with migraines, which also
Yeah.
creates a lot of nausea for some people. It can help with carpal tunnel. I was told 20 years ago I needed carpal tunnel surgery,
Wow.
and I'm not, haven't had it yet, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
When I get down to whether or not I need a hip or a knee replaced, I'm gonna use all the hypnosis I can before I let myself go under the knife for something that's not life threatening.
Yeah.
Uh, you just feel like you're more in control. You're not helpless, or you're not a victim of your body or the medical system.
Yeah. And also, if you don't mind me asking, is there certain types of pain that hypnosis responds better to, or is it all pain?
Hypnosis does
Is it
best with chronic pain, whether it be
okay?
arthritis or cancer pain or long-term sports injuries. But it's also very effective in acute pain. And a good example would be a soldier out in the battlefield. He, is not in a position to do anything, medically perhaps to deal with the pain. He's got to get out of there safely, whatever situation he's in. So he automatically goes to a self-hypnotic type state to deal with the pain and stay
Mm-hmm.
safe and get out of the dangerous situation he's in. Uh, Football players that play the entire game and then they find out that they've got this bad injury, it's because they've been able to redirect their pain sensations to get done what they felt was the most important thing to do, is
So
play the
true.
game.
Yeah. And when it comes to hypnosis, people might say, "Oh my goodness, well, I don't understand. Just one thing. How can we do this virtually?" That's a question. No matter what form of hypnosis you're using to treat, say, chronic pain, can you explain how hypnosis does work virtually? Because that some people might be like, "Huh? She's not here." Can you just explain that for us?
When you do it virtually, and we
Mm-hmm.
all got good at practicing that, it was new for most of us before
Mm-hmm.
COVID, when COVID started. Um, it's difficult to do if you've got a crazy household and not a quiet place you can sit and relax while the therapist is talking to you. Um, but it can be done. I mean, my house with a bunch of dogs and stuff, I would have to, who knows, maybe go sit in the bathroom to get a place away from the animals.
Yeah.
You've got to just find a quiet, undistracted place for even 30 minutes. And um, I always give everybody an MP3 to go that's made individually for them, whatever discussion, whatever problem we're dealing with.
Wow.
And so they get a chance to practice in between sessions. And that's how you get better at it. Practice makes perfect. And, you're doing something again to help yourself and be in control.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you won't need pain medicine at all the rest of your
Mm-hmm.
life, but it might mean that you don't need quite as much.
Yeah.
Uh, and especially if you're sensitive to pain meds, or you work in a job that you really can't be, snowed and sleeping all day because of the pain meds. Um, Hopefully it increases your quality of life, because I mean, sometimes the pharmacology approach is the only thing that's going to get it for good forever, but the hypnosis makes it so hopefully you need less of that, and maybe just take the pills when you're trying to sleep at night and still function
Mm-hmm.
during the day in a job that you can't operate machinery when you're on the heavy duty
Yeah.
opioids and things. And you know
And
if you're
why would
motivated, hypnosis can be a good alternative.
and why would you say some people are more responsive to hypnosis than others?
It's actually based on genetics and life experiences. There was a study there's a lot of studies actually about that, but in particular, just in April, Stanford University published in the Journal of Molecular Diagnostics, volume 25, number 4, April 23. and they tested enzymes that can predict how whether or not somebody is hypnotizable. One of the they did combination of MRI scans and genetic testing, saliva
Wow.
testing, and they actually found certain characteristics in the DNA that does show that some people are more predisposed to the ability to be hypnotized. The
Oh,
research is limited in that you don't have very many trained therapists that are trained to actually handle the scientific end of it and understand, in the induction, which is the first stage of hypnosis, the trained, I guess like a proctor in a test or something, a kind of person would know how to specifically elicit certain responses and see how quickly it comes, how naturally, how much resistance is there, whether or not a person gets very dissociative and
mm,
detached, or whether they're resisting it. They know what signs to look for, and they're connected to wires and things like EEGs, and just so you can see physiological responses as the therapist is talking to them.
wow.
And it's really kind of neat because it shows that this does work. And it shouldn't be the last resort. It should be something that somebody considers early in their pain journey, because
Wow.
it just makes the whole trip a lot easier to deal with.
Interesting. That's fascinating because all this research, I mean, that's amazing that genetically it'll help us to tell us if we're predisposed to this type of thing or predict, I should say, the effectiveness. So you mentioned so pharmacology options as well.
There are, everybody knows about the opioid crisis, and doctors, it's not that your doctor wants you to suffer. He's really limited by law what he's allowed to prescribe, what he has to document, how many he can give you, and things like that. And it may be less than you've been used to having for even years. And, the doctor truly doesn't like to see anybody
Mm-hmm.
suffer, uh, but his hands are tied in this situation. So if you have things that work as an adjunctive to help it, so you need less pain medicine, it kind of works good for everybody. Uh,
Yeah.
you're not feeling like he's just trying to make you suffer and you're helpless and you're homebound and can't move. Um, and sometimes it takes a combination of alternative therapies. It might take some acupuncture, massages,
Mm-hmm.
Reiki, a whole bunch of different things working together. But most of the alternative choices that are out there are not too expensive. They're not covered by insurance for the most. Acupuncture is by some insurance companies,
Yep.
but they overall, in the quality of life that they bring, it's worth looking into.
Wow. Could you share some of your personal stories with your clients, not using their name, but about the type of pain management that you've helped with and what types of pain have you helped people be relieved from specifically?
A lot of times I tell people that the anticipation of an event is usually worse than the actual event in almost any kind of emotional and um, even anticipating medical procedures, things like that. You get yourself all worked up and anxious. I've never had a colonoscopy. It's going to hurt. What if I'm not clean? You just make up all kinds of things in your head to make it
Mm-hmm.
worse. And when you're even just getting an IV, sometimes I use, like when I'm putting an IV in somebody, and I see that they're just crazy with anxiety about it, and they hold their breath. The blood doesn't flow when you stick somebody and they're holding their breath. But while they're getting all anxious, sometimes I'll just say, very, very softly, gee, I won't feel a thing. They start laughing, and I've got my needle in the vein real easy. That goes back to me being a clown, probably, but it
Mm-hmm.
works. It distracts them. And that's the same principles I use with hypnosis. Somebody's getting ready for a knee replacement, but they're worried about surgery, that maybe they've never had anesthesia, or they've had bad reactions to anesthesia. I can actually kind of recreate in their mind prior to surgery what to expect. And, it makes the surgery go a lot better. Same thing with dental procedures. Um, you can anticipate a positive outcome instead of the negative outcome. If you think it's, when I was in nursing school years ago, and long, like half a century ago, I guess, um, I had a pediatric instructor who was talking about anesthesia. she said, never give me general, or whatever her reason was. I don't even remember that. All I heard was never give me general. I ended up with an emergency surgical procedure the next week. And I ended up on a ventilator because as they were putting me under, in my head, I heard this teacher saying, never give me general, never give me general. And that's what my mind responded to. And it was just amazing to me that, there was the connection there. And I laughed about it because I've never had problems prior to that, but it was just the influence of her saying that. And I had no fears about anesthesia or having the procedure, but it was there stuck in my head. Some little birdie heard it and kept playing it over and over and over.
Oh my God. Everything worked out okay though?
Everything worked out fine. There was some issue, like they forgot to tell my husband that I was still on the ventilator 8 hours later, and he was out in the waiting room wondering what happened. But other than that, everything went well. And in the future, I kind of prepared myself before I go. Poor Harriet, rest her soul. She meant well. She didn't know what she was, but it
Yeah.
was, and that was long before I was looking at alternative things or, the mind is very strong.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Positivity, though, and mindset. I mean, you say the mind, that's so strong. General, just general. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Peggy, that's a great story. I mean, mind over matter, right?
It really is mind over matter. My husband is now deceased, and there was a challenge going on a few weeks ago. And I said, hey, Art, you might be up there playing with the dogs that crossed over the bridge. I said, but you need to get down here and fix this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there were solutions available for me that I didn't see 5 minutes prior to that.
Yeah. Oh, my
It's just
goodness.
amazing what you can do with the universe.
Amazing. Well, what else did you want to share? At this point, we should remind everyone how we can reach out to you, please.
Sure, I do take questions personally if somebody has a situation they would like to know if hypnosis could be helpful for.
Mm-hmm.
And you can email them to notjusthypnosis@gmail.com. I have a Google business site, which I have to actually look at it
It's
to tell you
okay.
what it is. Sorry. Well, the one site is notjusthypnosis.biz. That's an easy one for me to remember. The other one, the Google site, is Happy Possibilities dash hypnosis.business site. That's the
Mm-hmm.
Google site. And I can be contacted from either of those websites or directly by email. Uh, I can discuss, any concerns or questions. I do work with people that might not be considering this because they think it's prohibitively expensive. Uh, as a nurse, I'm here to help people. I'm not here. I'm never going to be rich. That's not my goal. Too late in life to do that. Um, and I'm not going to find a new rich husband, anything like that. I'm happy with my life. But I want to be able to help people. And if this is a technique that people can use that would make their life more comfortable, I got certified in pain management with working with cancer patients.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Philadelphia area, if somebody is homebound and absolutely cannot go anywhere within a certain mile radius, I'll actually go to their home like a visiting nurse and do it there so that they can, get some comfort and, just alleviate some of their anxieties. Same thing with people that are agoraphobic, afraid to go outside in the public. Uh, that's a little more challenging because you have to build a trust issue. But I'll go if someone's not able to get out of their home or do
Mm-hmm.
virtual, and it's within a reasonable mileage. I will go out to their home and do the services there.
Oh, that's so kind of you. And you mentioned before a clown. People tuning in might be like, wait, what? Could you also just share a little bit of your background? Because I learned that
Sure.
last week, but you're new to the show. The people are like tuning in, like, wait, who's this Peggy Smith? Wait, but where did the clown part come in? She's a clown too?
Yeah, I guess one of my favorite movies forever was Robin Williams and the
Oh,
Patch Adams.
mm-hmm.
And prior to that, in high school, I actually had a positive attitude as a child toward clowns. I wanted to go to clown college. There used to be one in Florida. My parents, of course, wouldn't pay for it, and apparently nobody's parents paid for it because the school went out of business. But when I was going through some health challenges, I guess about 20 years ago, I saw a newspaper article in the Philadelphia area of the bumper T carrying clowns. And they are a group of volunteer hospital clowns. And the director of the organization actually had trained with the original Patch Adams. And that's how I became a clown. And it came at a time that I was really getting burned out with nursing and healthcare. And being a clown let me connect with people. The reason why I became a nurse to begin with. And it's just been a lot of fun.
And
And
still does, right?
having a sense of humor is one of your best coping skills and non-pharmacological tools to get through life. My kids, they were all on Ritalin, and they were oh, it's another one of mommy's adventures, and just at 2 years old they knew the phrase "life's not fair, get used to it," and we just had a lot of fun with just keeping your perspective, because you keep your perspective and you realize it's not so bad. Just like I'm not going to feel a needle I'm putting in your arm.
True.
You don't need to be so anxious, because
never.
So I have a lot of fun doing what I do.
I was going to say, and you're still doing that too.
A lot more fun than doing traditional nursing, I have to say, but
yeah. Oh, well, we still have a few minutes left in your show, Peggy. What else did you want to share about hypnosis with everyone today? And I know the big topic of the day was about chronic pain, but is there anything else that you wanted to add on that subject or a different subject?
Just to let people know that next week I'll be dealing with not only smoking cessation, which is one of the easiest issues to use hypnosis for, but also explain how addictions in general can be helped with hypnosis. Things like sugar addiction, smoking addiction, soda, things like that are different than an actual drug and alcohol addiction.
Okay.
But it's the same part of your brain. And in the cases of those kind of addictions, hypnosis can help along with your other choices, whether it's a 12-step program. Most drug addictions do need to be medically monitored, which means that a physician has to give you medication to ease the symptoms and the stress on your heart as you're going through withdrawal. That's not something hypnosis can be replaced for. Hypnosis would not be a good substitute if you had court-ordered therapy and said, "Oh, I'll do this and I don't have to do any work." It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
But I can help relieve a lot of the anxiety. What am I going to do without this crutch? And, how am I going to get through, each day? And those kind of addictions are something you need to have a support group, but hypnosis can still help you keep your perspective and relax a little bit, and so that you don't fear the worst. And you've got people around you to remind you that you can get through it. Always. That's what we'll talk about next week.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Looking forward to it. And just remind us again how we can reach out to you, please.
Okay. The primary website is www.notjusthypnosis.biz. And my Google site is Happy Possibilities, all one word, -hypnosis.business site.
Perfect.
And we also have a YouTube channel, and I apologize, I don't know what it is actually up the top. I just type in my name and Happy Possibilities Hypnosis, and I get to it.
That's fine. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Pleasure having you back here, Peggy, and looking forward to the next time we get to connect, and have a great week. Anything good in store for the rest of the day?
Oh, I will. Thank you. You too. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
when I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.